Okay, so today's topic is the cardiac arrhythmias, and we all know that the cardiac heart has inherent ability to transmit impulses which are generated in the SA node. Uh, it means from SA node the impulses go to the atria, followed by AV node, and then to the ventricles. These impulses lead to the depolarization, followed by the uh, contraction of the impulses, and from there after the contraction the impulses are transmitted. There is repolarization of these structures. So these are the electrical changes in the heart. The rhythm of the heart is determined by the route of impulse transmission through the conductive system, which I just described, the SA node through AV node and the ventricles through its bundle branches. Now the heart rate is clinically measured as the pulse, but to determine the rhythm, an ECG or the electrocardiogram is required. So you cannot estimate the electrical changes in the heart using clinical methods, but you must determine ECG, which is the electrocardiogram, the recording of the heart, and it is done on a piece of paper by placing the electrodes on different parts of the body, mainly the chest and the limbs. Now let's come to the topic which is the cardiac arrhythmias. So what is meant by arrhythmias? As it indicates, the rhythm means the normal regular behavior or the normal regular electrical activity. Now when it comes in before any word, it nullifies the meaning of the later word. For example, arrhythmia means abnormality or difficulty or absence of the normal rhythm. So cardiac arrhythmia is any disorder of the heart rate or rhythm and is the result of abnormal generation or conduction of impulses. Okay, so this is all about the electrical impulses, and the conduction or the pathology can be in the generation or it can be in the conduction of impulses. The normal cardiac cycle gives rise to the normal sinus rhythm, which has a rate of about 60 to 100 beats per minute, as we all know. And this is the normal sinus rhythm, and this is the normal electrical activity of the heart. This is ECG, normal ECG, and we know that there is a P wave which indicates atrial depolarization, followed by the QRS complex, which denotes the ventricular depolarization, and then there is T wave, which indicates the repolarization of the ventricle. This is the normal rhythm of the heart, and there are specific intervals such as PR interval, which has normal duration of 0.12 to 0.22 seconds, and then we have QRS complex duration, which is less than 3 blocks, that is less than 0.12 seconds, and then we have QT interval, its duration should be less than 0.45 seconds. And then we have RR interval. The RR interval is between the two heartbeats, and it indicates the heart rate. Okay, so this is the normal pattern of ECG, and this is the typical graphical presentation of ECG. As we see that you can see that the rhythm seems normal, also the heart rate is normal, and the rhythm is normal. There is no discrepancy between the successive R waves, or the PR interval is of constant duration, and the QRS complex are less than 3 3 small box. Now the first arrhythmia is the sinus bradycardia. This is the normal sinus rhythm below 60 beats per minute. So if the rhythm will be the same, but the heartbeat will be less than 60 beats per minute. This may occur during sleep. It can occur normally during sleep, and it is very common in athletes. It is an abnormality when it follows myocardial infarction, or it may also accompany raised intracranial pressure. Raised intracranial pressure means the pressure inside the cranial cavity in the of the skull. So the beats should be less than 60, but it would be normal. It would be a normal rhythm. This is the sinus bradycardia. It can be physiological, such as during sleep and in athletes, and it can be pathological, such as after MI or after raised intracranial pressure. On ECG, you will see this presentation, and you can see the RR interval is quite prolonged. Okay, it is not like normal RR interval like this. There are much interval between the two R waves. Now the opposite of sinus bradycardia is the sinus tachycardia. This is also a normal sinus rhythm, but the cardiac heartbeat would be greater than 100 beats per minute. And when the individual is definitely at rest, because when the individual is taking exercise, the impulses are normally greater than 100, which is physiological. It can accompany the anxiety. Normally, heart rate increases, as we all have experienced in anxiety situation, but it is also indicator of some disorders such as fever, hyperthyroidism, and some cardiac condition. So this is the sinus tachycardia. It is normal, physiological in anxiety situation, and pathological in fever, hyperthyroidism, and other cardiac conditions. So the heart rate, as you can see, the interval between the two R waves is quite reduced. There is quite crowding of the R waves. This is the sinus tachycardia. Next is asystole. Asystole is simple when there is no electrical activity in the ventricles, and hence there will be no cardiac contraction and there will be no cardiac output. On ECG, it will appear as a flat line, as we can see. There is no electrical activity. Ventricular fibrillation and asystole can cause sudden and complete loss of cardiac output, that is the cardiac arrest, which leads to death. Very common, and the immediate need to do cardiopulmonary resuscitation. So asystole, the cessation of the electrical activity in the ventricles, and appear as a flat line. Okay, so the next is the fibrillation. Fibrillation generally means the uncoordinated contraction of cardiac muscle fibers. This is the contraction of cardiac muscle fiber in a disorderly sequence. The chambers do not contract as a coordinated unit, and the pumping action is disrupted. It has two types, atrial and ventricle. In atrial fibrillation, contraction of the atria is uncoordinated, the contraction of the atria is uncoordinated or unsynchronized and it is rapid, the pumping is also very ineffective. The pumping is also very ineffective because the atrial pumping is quite ineffective because there is uncoordinated and unsynchronized contraction of the atria, and there will be stimulation of the AV node is also disordered because impulses go from atria to the AV node. So when the impulses are uncoordinated and unsynchronized, the stimulation of AV node will also be disordered. So in atrial fibrillation, now the impulses which are going to the AV node are disordered and not uniform or rhythmic. The ventricular contraction will become rapid, and rhythm and force of the ventricular contraction will also be irregular. Although an adequate cardiac output and blood pressure may be maintained in some condition, the pulse will be irregularly irregular. So this is the arrhythmia which you can check if the pulse is irregularly irregular. The causes of increased excitability and disorganized activity are not always clear, but there are some predisposing conditions. These conditions include ischemic heart disease, degenerative changes in the heart, such as due to old age, and then there will be thyrotoxicosis. Thyrotoxicosis may increase in the level of thyroid hormone, and there can be rheumatic heart disease, which you have already studied. So these are the some conditions which lead to atrial fibrillation. On ECG, you will see that the P wave, you will not be able to appreciate the P waves. Why? Because atrial muscles are contracting unsynchronizedly, okay, uncoordinatedly. That is why P wave will not appear. Instead there will be small outburst or the oscillatory baseline. And what about the QRS complexes? As we see, the QRS complexes are also of unrhythmic duration. Sorry, excuse me. The QRS complexes are also not uniformly placed. So this is the typical presentation of atrial fibrillation. You see the interval between these two QRS complex is different than these two, and the next this. So this is the atrial fibrillation. Next is the ventricular fibrillation. Ventricular fibrillation is a medical emergency like the asystole, and it will swiftly lead to death if it is untreated, because the unrhythmic electrical activity within the ventricular walls cannot coordinate effective pumping action of the heart, and it will lead to the reduced cardiac output and cardiac arrest. Blood will not be pumped from heart into either the pulmonary circulation or systemic circulation. And what about the pulse? Yes, no pulse will be felt, and typically the patient will become unconscious and the breathing will stop. On ECG, we will see a irregular pattern, just a wavy irregular pattern like this. No appreciable wave, just wavy irregular pattern. So this is a medical emergency, ventricular fibrillation, the unsynchronized, ineffective electrical activity and the contractility of ventricular walls. Next is the heart block. Now the heart block occurs when normal impulse transmission is blocked or impaired. A common form involves obstruction of impulses through AV node, but less commonly conducting tissue in the atria or ventricles can also be affected. When the AV node is involved, the delay between atria and ventricular contraction is increased. The severity will depend on the loss of stimulation of AV node. In complete heart block, there are many types of heart blocks. First degree heart block, second degree heart block, and third degree heart block. Let's focus on the third degree heart block, which is more significant. So in third degree heart block, or which is also known as the complete heart block, the ventricular contraction is entirely independent of impulses initiated by the SA node. So it is free from the normal pacing action of the SA node. The ventricles will be driven by impulses which are generated by the pacemaker activity of the AV node itself. This will result in the slow, regular, but there will be regular ventricular contraction, and because ventricular and the heart rate will be 30 to 40 beats per minute. The ventricular contraction rate will be 30 to 40 beats per minute. In this state, the heart is unable to respond quickly to a sudden increase in demand, such as physical exercise. The most common causes of complete heart block are again ischemic heart disease, acute myocardial infarction, myocardial fibrosis due to myocarditis or repeated infarctions, and certain drugs which are used to treat heart disease. The most common is the digitalis, digoxin. When the heart block develops gradually, there is some degree of adjustment in the body to reduce cardiac output, but if it is progressive, it eventually leads to death from cardiac failure and cerebral anoxia. And on ECG in third degree heart block, you will see independent P wave and independent QRS complexes like this. You can see the P wave is not followed by the QRS complex. So this was all about arrhythmias. If you have any question, you can post in the comment section below. Thank you.